Okay, this is the delivery video for the CLS53 2020 model. So basically the vehicle has keyless go. All you have to do is pull the door handle, the door will unlock, and then you just hit that button there to shut it down. You also have automatic trunk release in the back. So what you do is you just flick it with your foot, like a little flick. It's the easiest motion. You have the button up there to press if you want to close it, or lock it to close it, or you just little kick and it'll bring it down. Okay, that's it from the outside. You also have the ability from the key to open all the windows. If you hold this down, you'll see all the windows in the sunroof. Oops, sorry, I released it. All the windows in the sunroof opening. Okay, and then to close it, again, you just press the lock. It will close all of the windows. Okay, so again, keyless remote, just pull the door handle, car unlocks. So the start stop, obviously you see here. So I'm going to go through the basics of the car. I think probably the most important features or options, just in terms of using the vehicle and controlling the screens. So you have a set of controls here. Basically, this operates multiple things. This will bring you to the home screen, so you'll see there. Okay, this brings you to a menu where you can scroll through and select different functions for this particular screen. So if you want to access, for example, radio, it'll pull up radio on the left hand side where you can switch through different stations. So I'm just scrolling like that. And then so if we go home again, we'll bring you back to this screen, and it gives you the option to select the actual style of the screen. So there's sport, classic, progressive. So you could do a sport design, which will change the whole design of the screen. You can do a classic design, right? Or you can do, I like progressive, so I leave it on this one. With this, you have the ability to change through the left and the right. So if you want to change different functions, obviously this is an AMG tuned vehicle, so you have different pieces of information. You know, your G-force indicator if you want to see your horsepower, track pace if you ever want to time your laps either on a track or just to a destination and upload them to social media. You have that opportunity. And then here we'll go back, and then you can design the left screen. I typically leave it on radio so that you can switch through the different radio stations while you're doing that. All right, so just remember that this button controls this screen, okay? Then you have this button, you have this control and the dial control, and they control that screen. So basically you have one button that controls this screen and the design, and then you have another button which controls that screen for the controls there. So the car has intelligent drive, which while you're driving basically is a function of autonomous driving and autonomous braking. So you have the ability to turn the car or to shift the system on and off, but you have to be driving for it to be in use. You can set basically the distance from you and the car in front of you. You can also set the speed through here. And then this is to reset it. So basically if you disengage, you can hit this button and it'll bring it back up. What that does is in cruise control mode, so like when you engage this, when you hit this button to turn it on, you pick the distance for the car in front of you, and your vehicle will actually follow that car. You'll see green hands on a steering wheel here, basically showing you that you're in intelligent drive mode, and the car will drive by itself. So if you're on a highway, it's the best time to use it. The car will actually keep the same distance from you and the car in front of you, and you'll see the steering wheel moving to keep you within the lane. If a car in front of you stops, this car will stop, so on and so forth. Okay, And then your volume controls are here. This again is your back function there, brings you to that, which you can control and scroll through information on the vehicle there. Okay, and then you can go home. It will bring you back to home here. Okay, and then you can control, so let's say for example, if you want navigation, so you have your navigation function set up there. Okay, and then you also have Apple CarPlay. So if you have an iPhone, you would plug into port B. So you plug your cord in here, and when you connect, it will bring up Apple CarPlay, and then you can use the system that way. Okay, and then you have controls here. So basically, again, scrolling this will scroll you through the different functions. So let's say vehicle. Okay, let's say if I want to do my light settings, so ambient lighting. Okay, and then it, you know, you don't want multicolor, we just shift over here, and I can control basically all of the different colors in the car. So if I want to do blue, if I want to do red, you can control all those different colors there that way. All right. You have your general controls here. So your heat, your ventilation, sorry, where the air is coming from, your ventilation. You also have your rear heated steering, rear windshield for heating. You can sync. So when you set the temperature on the car here, let's say you have 16 degrees, but you want to have the same on the other side, you would hit sync, and it automatically shifts to 19 degrees so that you have the same temperature on both. Disengage air conditioning, and then that's your controls that way. Okay, so here you have controls for the different functions of the car. So as an AMG vehicle, you have the option to change the suspension. You can change from manual shifter mode to automatic mode. This disengages your traction control systems. This here is the throttle exhaust port, so you can make the sound of the exhaust louder. And then this is your electronic parking, and then your volume control. So if you hit this dial, this will change the different drive modes of the car. So you have here, best way to see it, Sport, Sport Plus. You can hear the engine of the throttle come up, and this light turns red to show you that you're using the Sport Plus mode. So comfort, individual, slippery, and all of these are going to be different adjustments for the suspension and also the steering ratio of the car. So if I go, for example, here to individual, in individual mode, I can actually adjust the different drive functions of the car. So let's say drive. So for the engine, let's say I want the engine in, I don't know, let's just put it moderate. For the transmission, I want it in regular drive. The suspension, let's say I want it comfort. And the exhaust, let's say I want it powerful. So I've pre-tuned traction control systems you don't really need to play around with. So I've tuned the engine now to my preference in individual, so you can see I for individual. Basically now the car is in my preset template, so the vehicle will actually have the settings that I enjoy. But then if I don't want to use my individual template, I can just use the ones that come from the manufacturer, which basically, you know, in sport mode, this is the steering wheel is stiff, the suspension is stiff. In Sport Plus, your throttle response now comes up, your steering wheel is stiff, and also the suspension is stiff. And that's how you control through the different drive modes there. Going to the controls of the seats, it's going to be very similar to your S-Class. So basically your memory function, this controls this. This is the extension for this piece here. Okay, and then you also have ventilation here. You also have, heated seats here, ventilation here, and then you can control the other seat using this function here. Okay, that's pretty much it, just in terms of the general controls of the car. I will follow up with you tomorrow, and if you like, we can do a FaceTime communication in terms of using the using the equipment, and we can kind of go from there. All right, so I will we'll see you shortly. Take care.